Hi friends, it's Liz here at Liz the Paper Project. Thank you so much for joining me today. I thought I would just turn on the camera. I was about to start a project, continuing, I should say, a project that I've been working on. And I thought I would just film how I'm putting some of the pieces together. So of course you can use any of your supplies. I'm using these digital papers from Digital Collage Club. I do have a coupon code for them if you're interested in visiting their shop and getting anything. But this is, I believe, their new William Morris paper pack. So of course I wanted to play with it a little bit. I'm loving the colors and just the fact that they could be used for anything because they really are essentially like almost background papers as far as I'm seeing some of them. So I will link everything I mentioned in the description box below. And I'm also going to be showing you what I'm using in case you're interested in some of the products that I'll be using in the project. So as I said, any papers that you have, I personally like printables because then I only print what I want when I want, and I don't have to have an extra collection of papers like the paper pads if I'm not going to be using some of those pieces. So back to this, I've got those little, what am I calling these? Journal ephemera, I guess. I was looking at the slide die cut from that Tim Holtz collection, and I wanted to use it a little different. I didn't want to just, use the slide itself. I wanted to sort of make it into a little journaling card. And so that's what I came up with to do this sort of ephemera piece. So I'm going to show you a few of the ones that I've been making, what I've been using, in case you're interested, as I said, in purchasing anything, or you already have some of the pieces in your collection. So I will have these linked in the description box below. I did use the little slide from this Tim Holtz collection here. And oh my gosh, the story behind this one I have to tell you after. It's been hilarious how I finally found it, but I'll let you know. Anyways, so I decided to just kind of use it, like I said, a little bit differently and add something else to it to, just make it a little bit, work a little better for me, I should say. All right, so the next thing that I was using as well is some stickers that I made, and then just some, little pieces of paper scraps that I had around. I did use some of these butterflies that are from the Digital Collage Club collection. And this little ephemera holder, I've made quite a few different ones actually, and I will link those videos below in case you're interested in checking out how we've made some of these ephemera holders. I like to keep things maybe either themed or for a project in them, so it makes it easier for me to access the pieces that I'll be using. All right, so back to this one. Depending on the size that you want to make these, of course, it's up to you. But I was trying to go with maybe like the ATC size, which is like the 3 by 2.5, I believe. But they're all different sizes. And I should say that because I repurposed something to make the actual backing piece for it. All right, so this next one, I used kind of like the orangey tone paper. I used a flower sticker from the washi tape shop, and I did add some dimension to it by using those little, I think they're called flat back pearls. So I kind of like to add those sometimes to my projects. It just, gives it a different little look, and I think just by adding those little pieces, it made it a little different. If I have any coupon codes for any of the companies I'm also mentioning, I will link those below. For sure, I know I have some for the washi tape shop. And by the way, if you haven't seen that, my latest video, oh my gosh, the washi tape I just received was amazing. Anyways, I will link that below as well. The next thing I've been so excited about using is the stamp set by Sampool. This is the Dates from the Past. Thank you, Tammy, for helping me find this. Oh my gosh, I've been so excited about it. And projects that I had already sort of started working on, I'm actually finishing them off because I'm just adding a little stamp here and there. And I think it just really makes it a finished project. So anyways, that's the first two that I've made. Like I said, I'll make one with you in the video. It's not really a tutorial. It's more like a process video so you can see how I've put it together. Just in case you have, again, the supplies that I'm mentioning. If you don't have the slide or this particular one that I used, you can certainly use whatever you have because I'm sure it'll work. and or we can make sort of like a makeshift one. But I'm trying to keep my videos under like 20 minutes. And the reason I'm doing that lately is because it's easier to upload them. And so I find that it's just so much easier to do that. So if I can't show you in the video how we made one or how to make one, I'll come back in another video and show you how to make like, a faux slide, I guess, in a way. All right, so this is the next one that I was working on. This one, again, I just added a few more pieces to it. I did place it in a different space, the little slide. I did the stamping. I added my homemade stickers there. And then for this one, I did add just another little element. This one would be to kind of hang it maybe from something. It almost becomes a charm because I added, that little corner piece there as well. So anyways, this is the basics of what I'll be putting together with you. We'll make one, as I said, in the video, because I'm sure once I show you how we make one, then you can just sort of take that and make it your own. As always, if you enjoy my videos, don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. And by liking the video, then you let me know that you've actually watched it and enjoyed it, so I can keep making similar videos as well. All right, so I just showed you the supplies that I'll be using. Like I said, basic supplies that most of us probably already have. And I'll just start putting this together. So I hope you are all doing well. We've had some interesting weather here where I am. And today is actually a little bit snowy, like flurries, and wet. So there's a little bit of rain. So I'm showing you here, I'm using half of a playing card. I have a bunch of different sizes of playing cards, and I kind of like to use them as my, my back for many things instead of cardstock sometimes. But of course, if you want to use your cardstock for this project, that would be probably the easiest thing to do as well. I like these playing cards because they're like really thick, and so the project just feels nicer when, you're sort of putting it together on a nice hard surface. So that's why I'm using the playing cards. So all I've done is I've taken one of the papers from the collection, and I'm just going to cover this up. So I'm not going to show you step by step because obviously you know how to cover up cardstock paper, right? So I'm just showing you my process just so you can kind of see, especially for those of you that mentioned that you enjoy seeing the process of, the step by step. I'm trying to show you as best as I can, but also not to, kind of have you watch every single time I glue something or cut something or that sort of thing. And all I'm doing here is rounding my corners. It all depends if you like rounding your corners or not. That's a step that you don't have to do. So here's another way to repurpose those junk mail envelopes, which is one of my favorite things to do. I'm just going to use it to cover the back of this because then it also gives me journaling space if I want to, or just a space at least to cover, like I said, the card. And I do use double-sided tape for most of the project, but I know that some of the edges, when I don't get the tape, I'm just going to add some of my wet glue and let that dry as best as it can. Okay, so if you are just joining me today on my channel, I will link some playlists below. I do really like to show you some tutorials, craft with me videos, and then just so many more things that, I kind of like to share. So I will put those playlists in the description box below in case you're interested in checking out some of my other videos. All right, so for this project, I did want to distress it a little bit. So I'm just showing you what I use to distress it. I just think sometimes it just kicks it up a notch because it really does emphasize what your background of something, right? So now I've got my little slide, and I'm just going to be gathering my pieces to close this up. I do like the detail on this slide because it's got that little sort of center outline where you would put the label itself or like a number. So that's a really nice touch for this this slide. I do have another one that's a larger size. I believe that's also from Sam Poole. And I decided again to use a Tim Holtz one instead, but I could certainly have made this a larger project if I used the bigger one. So I wanted to quickly tell you the story about this set of Tim Holtz dies. Uh, I originally had the first two in that collection. I think it's the collectors, I don't remember, but it's got like a set of three different die sets, and this one was one of them that included this slide. Now, as I mentioned, I do have the one from Sam Poole, but it's a lot larger, and I do really love Tim Holtz, so I thought, I should at some point get the collection of these dies. So my sister was kind enough, my sister Elle was kind enough to get me some for my birthday last year. That's how long I've had them. And I didn't want to sort of add this one to, at the time, I didn't want to purchase it because I thought, well, let me try the other two sets first and see what happens. As it turns out, this set almost disappeared from, me being able to find it. So of course, here I am looking at all these different stores. Since then, I decided I should have bought it. I'm sure you know what I'm talking about, right? When you think, I'll buy this later, or I don't need it now. And then all of a sudden, it's like everywhere you look, it's there. Everyone is using it, except you can't find it. So for the longest time, and it's almost been a year actually, that I was looking for this set, and I just didn't know what to do. Like, I just kept looking at different shops. I'm in Canada, so I kept trying to find different shops online that I could find it. I didn't want to pay all the extra shipping from, different stores outside of Canada. So I kept thinking about if it comes down in price, because it really went up in like an incredible price, I would, eventually get it. So long story short, I kept waiting and checking. I kept checking Amazon, and I kept seeing, whenever I would do the search, I kept seeing this one image that just didn't fit what the collection was. So I kept just brushing it off. I didn't even think that was part of what I was looking for. And the first two that would always pop up were the other ones in the collection. So I thought, okay, well, they still haven't, received anymore, or there's no one else selling this set. So I'll keep waiting and waiting and waiting. This went on for a long time. And then it got to the point that I just thought, forget it. I'm just not going to bother with it, right? However, I'm not like that. When I decide that I really want to try something out and just add it to my collection, because I know I will be using it, I just kept thinking about it and thinking about it. And leave me a like if you're like me, just so let me know that I'm not alone here. It's almost like an obsession of having to find that piece that I think I just need to have, right? So anyways, recently, I would say maybe the last few weeks is when I actually found it, and I realized it was in front of me the entire time. But the way that the person or the company that was selling it, I guess it was even Amazon, I don't know, that's how I got it. The image that they had, the first image for showing this die set, was completely different than what I was seeing with other images of the Tim Holtz collection. And I don't know if that's happened to you. So that's why I kept not even looking at that listing, because I kept thinking, well, that's not it. And at some point I clicked on that and I thought, wait, it's the entire description of what I've been looking for. And it does not look like the image of what I'm looking for, but I'll click on it and see. And sure enough, the second picture was exactly the image showing you what I was looking for. So I just kept thinking, I don't know how this listing came about, and I don't know who decided to change the image for advertising purposes, but it's probably been there the entire time I've been looking for it. It was not as crazy expensive as it was in the other shops I had been looking for, and now I have it. So anyways, that's the story of this set that I finally have in my collection. Here, I'm just back to the project, just showing you, I did show this in a previous video, how I make my own stickers. This is using my own printables, and basically what I do is I just run a label sheet for address label and print my designs on it. And then this way I have all these different little stickers that I can use in projects, as you can see here. And then I just cut them up to fit whatever project I'm working on. And I have a limitless collection of my handmade stickers. Yes, they're all sort of in that address label shape, but you know, you can manipulate them to fit whatever you want. So I hope that you had some tips here. I hope that you get to play with your sets of dies if you have them. And in a future video, probably very soon, I will come back and show you how to make some of these slides, with some things that you may already have at home if you don't have these slides in your collection. I will link everything I've shown in the description box below. Thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you next time. Thanks so much for stopping by.